I'm new to this. Okay, we're on live now, so let me go live on my other page. Give me a second.
It's making me feel good as an influencer. I do the same thing. I'm like, am I here, there, everywhere?
Nice, nice. That's a good look.
So, man, you have a real good radio voice, man. Do you do any radio at all?
Me?
Yeah.
Oh, I was gonna say thank you.
Myself? No. I've always been in the background. I was a personal concierge. I owned Rat Pack Concierge for a while. Then, like I said, I became.
I got the names crossed up. I was being the other brother.
Yes, sir.
All right. Just trying to go live. Give me a second, fellas. Yeah, I know we're live now, but just bear with me. I'm trying to switch on the Instagram for whatever reason.
The leader of the Gap Band.
Hey, don't worry, Rico. We got you, buddy.
I appreciate it. Yeah, you guys. I don't know why, but I think the connections to my Instagram for whatever reason, when your Instagram live producer to preview, there's not a button, so it's all good right now. And I know we're on Facebook and I know we're on YouTube.
And the Facebook is Rico Davis, right? Because I don't see it live.
Add a link. Oh, on Facebook it's live.
On Facebook, what is it? Under what name? Rico Davis?
It's official Rico Davis. But what I'm not going to do, I'm not going to let it stop me. Let's go ahead and focus on what we can focus on, which is Facebook right now and YouTube. And what I can do after we're finished with this segment, I'm going to pretty much go ahead and upload some clips to where everybody can see what we're doing. All right, so now that I got everybody on here, let me see. Yep. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get started, man. Again, man, I want to thank you guys. And you said you can hear me loud and clear, correct?
Yes, we can hear you.
I want to thank you guys, man, for tuning in. I want to thank you guys for coming on to the Just Ask Rico show. And today's topic is about what are men dealing with that nobody talks about. You guys will be amazed, man, of how many dudes that I talk to on a regular basis that's either asking me questions about something that I've been through, or even if it's relationships. I get a lot of messages, man, and I just feel like, if I can create a platform, man, for other men to just open up about what they do. And also I just found out too that June is also men's mental health month. So this is a perfect time for us to talk about what it is that any one of us is dealing with, because none of us is vulnerable, man. And you see guys commit suicides, or you see guys that just give up on life because they feel like there ain't no way out. And I'm sure we all grown men, we've all been through something in our lives where we probably said to ourselves, because I've been
naming that book,
man, shit, like what I'm gonna do. And sometimes we feel like we ain't got nothing else to do but give up. But guess what? We all still here, we still fighting. So there's somebody that's gonna watch this video and is gonna say, damn, I didn't know he was feeling like the way I'm feeling. So maybe I can get past this. So that's all we're trying to do, man. And that's why I got these questions, man. And I just want you guys to be real transparent about what you've been through. But because I'm looking at my screen, I'm just gonna go down around the table. We're gonna start off with Blue. Talk about you and who you are and what you got going on. Your screen just went off, sir.
Okay. Am I back for you?
Not yet.
Can you see me?
No, just your voice.
But for right now, just go ahead and talk. Hopefully it'll cut back on.
All right. So yeah,
there you
go. Perfect. So a little bit about me. I am a 47-year-old male, single father of 2 small children. I used to have a concierge service called Rat Pack Concierge. Had a residency in Vegas, at a place in Atlanta and Florida. Retired when I was 38, and immediately started my non-for-profit called Kingsman, teaching young boys how to be men.
Oh, that's good. That's good.
So looking forward to bringing that to Houston now that I know this is officially going to be home.
Okay.
Welcome to Houston.
Welcome to
Appreciate
Houston,
it.
sir.
Thank you.
Welcome.
All right, Sam, you up next, sir.
Yeah, I'm Sam McFord, born and raised right here in Houston, married with 4 kids. I'll be married 26 years this year.
Mm.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Congratulations.
thank you. I appreciate that. I own a senior care business, and I also own a company called Sam Mac Entertainment, where I've been promoting and doing events here in Houston since 1998, but professionally since the year of 2000. I've thrown massive events in Houston at some of the biggest facilities in Houston. And I try to keep life simple and fun, and anything that I can do to give back, everyone knows I'm involved.
Love it.
That's what's up. All right, next up, I see Trapper.
Yo, Trapper Searles here, Scottsdale, Arizona. Originally from Wyoming, and then Denver for 23 years. Entrepreneur for life. Exited a company after 20 years just last year. Moved my wife and daughter and myself down to Scottsdale. And just launching a brand right now called Roar, Return on Relationships. And then the book I was holding up is super relevant to what we're talking about. The book I published in July of last year, bestseller, is called I Survived Suicide by Killing Myself. So.
Oh.
Okay.
Okay.
Appreciate that information. Next up, we got Mr. Houston.
Yes, sir. Hey, everybody. God bless y'all. My name is Mr. Houston, also known as Kylan. I am a Texan by choice, born and raised in Arizona and California. Migrated to Texas about 35 years ago. And so since I've been here, I have formulated a company that is called the Kylan Entertainment Group, and as well as the Kylan Group, which is a commercial, mixed-use commercial. I'm known most for my music, and my music has opened doors. I have about 3 or 4 albums. I've done several television shows. I've worked with artists as Stevie Wonder, from Smokey Robinson, Take 6, the whole 9 yards. I've got a couple albums out. Just recently released a new single called Good Thing, y'all. You got to go check that out. Yeah. It's about love and relationships. Got 1.2 million streams on that. And really excited about that. Also got 2 motion pictures that I'm working on, and my soundtracks that are coming out. I'm releasing a new single July 3rd. It's a Southern Soul Country. And then I've also got some new music. I am the proud husband of a beautiful queen, proud father of 5 of my own children, 2 bonus children. And I am also just really excited about what God's doing in my life. And as of next week, I'll be officially going out on tour as the new lead singer for the infamous Gap Band. And so we're just
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, let's go.
God bless. So God's opened that door with fellowshipping with those good gentlemen there, and keeping that music, the Burn Rubber Party Train thing outstanding.
There you go.
That's how we do it. So that's me. God bless y'all. So glad to be here with my brother Rico.
All right. Up next, we got Bo, SPG in the building.
Hey, Bo Arnold, born and raised in Tennessee, but been residing in Dallas, Texas for the last year. I own an entertainment company called Bo Entertainment, where I'm a promoter as well. I've had people like King George, Calvin Richardson, the PC Band, a lot of sales acts that I brought to Tennessee, and I'm looking forward to expanding it to Jackson. And like Rico says, I'm salt and pepper gang now, baby.
Yes, sir.
I'm trying to get there.
Here's that.
All right, fellas. So, of course, I didn't really say too much about myself. I mean, a lot of people, at least who's following me, kind of know my journey. What I am doing now is what I've been doing for almost over 30-something years, always giving back to the community. I'm always thinking about other people, but even before I even think about myself. And one of my latest projects, I always keep my hands in something. I always feel like you have to have 7 streams of income if you want to survive in today's society. And I've been doing 7 streams of income probably ever since I was 7 years old. I always figure out a way how to make ends meet. Never was the type of dude to walk around with my hands out asking for something. I'm always trying to either figure out a way how to make money or try to bring somebody else along the way. Sometimes you can't bring everybody with you up. It is what it is, But one of my latest project is got my Finally got my own cologne. Well, I don't even want to say cologne. I want to say fragrance because it's unisex and it is that can
Right.
be worn by men or women, and it's called Suave. So I'm
Suave.
excited about that, man. And you know, here I am today. But we do have one more guest. Let me add him to the page, and he's going to be on the hot seat. Are you, all right, he's on the hot seat right now. There you go, Trap. You up next. You can tell everybody a little bit about yourself,
Let's
sir.
see. I don't even hear no.
Can you hear me? We can hear you.
Let's see.
We can hear you and see you. Trap.
You damn flies.
Hey, he looks good.
Yeah, I know.
We can hear you.
All right. He might come back on.
Who said he
But,
looks
but
good?
anyway, yeah, I think it's the fly that knocked him back.
Yeah, hey, that fly got on that computer and said, nope.
All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start off with the first question, fellas. And again, we're going to go around the table. We're going to start off with Blue, man. Like I said, I got 10 questions. Hopefully we can get to all 10, but if not, we're going to get to what we can get to because I'm not going to rush any of you guys, man, because you're being transparent and your answer is your answer. But what is something men are expected to handle in silence that most people never see?
They're expected to handle the world. They're expected to handle the weight. They're expected to handle their emotions in silence. As many platforms, as they say, women say, hey, talk to me, speak to me. Men are afraid. Uh, their emotions tend to get weaponized. People have no idea how much men carry in silence, how much burden. And I'm not just talking about physical, I'm talking about mental and emotional.
Mm-hmm.
Those are the things that men have to carry. We have to, know how to pay the bills and things of that nature and make everything look like it's okay. We're expected to make the ship look like it's a smooth running ship, even though there might be some holes in the hull. Uh, I think that's one of the biggest things, not having a space to release. I know we have some brothers here that are married, and I'm sure that they've discovered over the years they have a safe space with their partners. But a lot of men, they don't have that space. And if they do, they don't feel comfortable because it's not how we were raised. We weren't raised to share our load with women because that's not how they were designed.
Yeah,
That's not how who was designed.
How women were
Good
designed
answer.
to hold the burden of what men have to go through. You think about it, women are taught how to receive love and affection. They're not taught how to give it. They're taught what to expect. So when you think about a man having to go into that space, is it really there for them? And a lot of men will tell you no, whether it's on their own personal conviction. What do we talk? Men are not supposed to cry. Men are supposed to stay strong. We're supposed to pay the bills. I mean, great song, Music Soul Child made. I mean, that hit home.
All right, now, how much of that do you think is self-inflicted?
It's
You know,
learned behavior and then it becomes self-inflicted.
okay, okay. Because I think we all have room in our life to where we can run to a brick wall and we need to open up to somebody or something like that. But prayer is always available. And
Correct.
yeah, and God put this on us to lead, and we can't be put here to lead and then complain about wearing the crown. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Right. I agree.
Right.
Also, if I could add to that, a lot of black men that are providers, whenever we decide to open up to someone and talk about our burdens, we're looked at as a weakness. You know,
That
It
they
is
part.
look at
That's
us
not.
what
as
I'm
a
saying.
weakness. So we kind of try to keep that all in, and we're providers. We're a homemaker. We're the bill payer. We're the food provider. We're
Right.
everything, and people just don't understand that sometimes the black man needs to exhale. You know.
Just a
Mm,
space to say, you know what? I'm tired. I'm tired
Mm.
today. Can you take over for me? Today, I am tired. And when we think about leadership, like in the corporate world, a good leader knows how to delegate his position. But in relationships, and as a man, like you said, we're seen as weak if we try to delegate some of that space off. I'll give you an example. If I get with a woman and she's an account manager, her job is dealing with numbers. And if I know how to skim through, and then I meet someone who's in that as a leader, I should be able to say, baby, you handle the bills. I'm going to sit here with you, but you obviously have a better grasp on it than I do. But we don't
Right.
feel that we have that space a lot of times. You know, we feel because that's how we were taught from boys who didn't know how to be men. And so we have this misconception of what true manhood is, and we hold unnecessary burdens.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Okay.
All right, you up next, Trapper. You want to elaborate on that question? What is something men are expected to handle in silence that most people never see?
Yeah, just speaking from my experience and close friends, I would say the vulnerability piece is a big deal. You know, I grew up in Casper, Wyoming, and you know, like most of us, dysfunction was heavy. So like no male leadership role in my house. I mean, my dad, my parents were married their whole life, but my dad wasn't present, and he was an abusive alcoholic. And so, you know, growing up in that environment, I remember, you know, being 6 years old and watching my mom get thrown through a plate glass window. And then, you know, a few years later, trying to tell my parents at 13, like, you guys need to get a divorce. And so, you know, I think a lot of young men, you know, start out at 12, 13 years old, and there's no GPS system. A good friend of mine, actually, a couple of you guys might have met him or know him. His name's Anthony Russo. And, he actually said something that resonated with me recently is he kind of uses God as his GPS, Jesus as his GPS, because you know, I wasn't a very religious guy until recently. I'm on a pretty solid journey with Christ right now, and I kind of say this as far as vulnerability and leadership too is I feel like I'm just a vessel nowadays, and things are working through me, and so I don't mind being vulnerable. I haven't been I've been a vulnerable guy, but when I attempted in 21, I think I just decided, hey, enough's enough, and that's when I just started fighting. You know, I stopped fighting the current and I just started going with the flow of like what my creator wants me to do. So vulnerability has always been a big one for me, but I'm an advocate that vulnerability is our greatest strength. And I'm a keynote speaker, and I speak on that all the time. It's like, if we tap into our vulnerability, we're limitless.
Thanks for sharing that message, man.
What's your thought?
Okay, so just for clarity, the question is, what are some of the things that men deal with in silence that people don't know about? Is that what we're doing?
Yes, that people just don't see.
The fact that I don't know what I'm doing.
Hey, Leslie.
I'm living.
No doubt.
I'm required to be something. For most of us, we're required to be something we've never seen. And if we've seen it, it wasn't modeled correctly. What is a husband?
Okay,
who showed us? Who showed us what that meant? What does it mean? Because it's not just providing.
The warehouse supervisor.
Yeah, it's not just providing. It's not just.
I don't know which one's here. I'm on the phone
up.
with my son right now, and I'll call you right back.
Okay. The fact that, like our other brother said, there's no GPS. I would say there's no manual. What does it mean to be a man? What does it mean? Yeah, you're born male. Yeah, we know what our genitalia does. Yeah, we know, and I mean, there's so many things. Number one, we're dealt with a overwhelming responsibility to just know what we're doing and to suck it up. We're taught as young men that we are to be emotionless. Strength is in, hey, you're not hurt. What are you crying for? What are you doing? And then you're told that by either a mother or a father, in most cases a mother, because most of us didn't have dads that were in the home. Then now you're dealing with a situation to where now you're placed in a life and in a world where you're dealing with a woman in an intimate relationship. And the first thing she wants you to do is tell her how you feel.
Ooh.
So now you've got 30 years of my feelings don't matter, function, provide, perform, show up, look the part, be strong, don't cry. And nobody cares that, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I got these kids that I don't want to end up to be like me or my dad, or I don't even know how to be a father. I don't know how to be a husband. What is this role that I am supposed to know what the hell I'm doing? And who taught me? And did they really know what they was doing?
The message is in that brother that came right before you. When he said he opened up and allowed God to have his way in his life. You know, so, it would be nice for all of us to have a dad in our life. I didn't have one. That would be nice, but the Lord is our compass. And it's kind of hard to have this subject without bringing him into it. But
no, it's impossible. I agree with you.
Right. But if you're studying his word and you're trying to get that understanding of his word, and then you have a group like we have here today, or we have, you have ministers and brothers and things like that you can turn to, you can pick up on how to guide this thing we call life.
Yeah, totally.
Well, I agree with that. Let me tell you, listen, I'm probably the most religious. I wouldn't say religious, but I'm probably the most person that's been in ministry. I've been in ministry over 40 years, 38 years as a worship pastor, and five years as a pastor. I'm still involved in ministry. This is what I've learned, is that I've learned that church people and churches teach a mentality that is turn it over to God. But no, what you really need to do is you need to deal with your esteem issues. You really need to deal with the fact that you're emotionally distraught, or you emotionally don't know how to communicate. Scriptures don't teach you how to communicate.
Yeah.
How do I talk when I am angry? How do I manage my budget? How do I deal with someone that's coming for me? How do I fight fairly? How do I deal with racism? It's okay to have God. It's okay to have that. But what do you do when you're being pulled over by an officer and that officer begins to hit you in the face? And now you're in a situation, or better yet, what do you do when it's your son, like this young boy who's been convicted 35 years for self-defense? What do you do when that's your boy?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? That's real. And the reality of it is we need a system like this show tonight that gives accountability and tools. Hey, listen, live off of 60% of your income. Stuff like that. Learn how that when your woman is upset with you, learn how not to match her energy. Stuff like that,
Can I dive in and share something real quick? You guys have me think of something here real quick. So I'm working on a book right now called Blind Expectations, and you started chatting about it here for a minute, but there's a concept that I came up with where when we meet somebody we know is going to be important to us in our lives, we create a judgment, we create an expectation for them about us, and they don't know anything about it. And so what happens is, because of that lack of alignment and communication, we start living our life according to that expectation that doesn't exist. And I use the analogy that we start climbing a mountain that has no top. And then because men are taught to just keep going, keep grinding, don't show your emotions, as we keep climbing this mountain, we just feel like we're not gaining any ground. I'm speaking for myself, but it is pretty relative to a lot of people that I've spoken to. And a lot of it is when we get into a relationship that's significant, especially marriage. I'm going on 20 years with my wife, and we've been through just about everything you can think of.
Congratulations.
Thank you. And yeah, it's been tough, but it is what it is. However, I don't think her and I started communicating in alignment until like 3 years ago. Okay. And we didn't start communicating in alignment until after my wife had a traumatic brain injury and was in the hospital for 180 days. And so a lot of people don't understand how important it is right out the gate to be honest, have integrity, communicate your truth. And if there's no alignment there, that's okay. Like, you don't have to put on some, blindfold to like please somebody. You just need to try to work your way through life with alignment in what's important to you. So I just wanted to share that.
All you brothers have said something amazing. So the question would be to that though, because you guys are all pretty much on the same page. How do you get a man to step outside of the lie that we were taught and that we perpetuated as we got older, which is these false identities of what manhood really is? If we don't acknowledge the fact that we don't know anything because we're still in that place where we feel we're on autopilot and have to pretend as if we have all the answers, then where does that put that man?
Well, you just have to be strong enough you have to be strong enough
We
to
gotta
set the
start taking
tone.
we gotta start taking accountability, man.
That's right.
And
Hey,
you know,
hey,
y'all spoke about you know, God, and I was just sitting back. I know y'all was speaking on like, the Bible teaches you this, but it don't teach you this. If you really study it, um, it's a lot of things that book do teach you and show you. You
that's
know,
right.
it's just you got to read it. The Bible tell you how to move just like it told the people in the Old Testament how to move. Everything run parallel to today, right? So when it
Right.
comes to even speaking on the brother that unfortunately got found guilty, I had a moment because I got black boys, right? But the bigger conversation is not injustice. You know, the jury is deeper than that. The bigger takeaway from that boy's story, and it took me days to think about it. The biggest takeaway is I had a conversation with my sons, and I was like, listen, as black men, we need to start teaching uh one another how to respond versus react because they already think that we naturally just react to everything. That
Right.
that was that was expected of that man to pull a knife and outside or whatever. And I had multiple different questions on why he had it, but the bigger conversation for me was like, yeah, it happened how it happened. But when I say accountability, I always take that claim first because anybody who follow God, go to therapy, know that if you come at God about people, God deal with you first before
That's
he
it.
deal with anybody else. He
You
deal with
better
you
you
first,
better say that again,
right?
That's it.
brother.
The,
You
the you
right
know
about
the
it.
therapy the therapy the same way. When
Right.
you go to therapy, she start from the beginning. I don't care how old you are. Any therapist be like, you know what? How was your childhood? It's a reason they go back that far. You know what I
Right.
mean? So
Yeah.
our problem is that's why you see more black women in church than black men. We don't want to follow nothing. We don't want that umbrella of God hanging over our head. That's a real thing.
That's
Like
real
I told
talk.
my like I told my sister, I said when you meeting a man, you got to ask that man who he follow. It's important for you
Right.
to understand who this man follow. If you leading him, or that's the blind leading the blind, that man has to be following God because, like I told my sister, you not you're not submitting to him as a person and the material things in the car. You submit to the God inside of him, and that's
Right.
important. And that's where it starts. And I think that's what we got to get back to because the
I
time
agree.
we get now, we really going off of the complete opposite of what God say. The complete
Yeah.
Why
opposite. So it's
why do
either
you
we go back to what the teachings say, or we make our own version of what the word of God means. That's where it
Right.
starts. We got to get back to how grandma and them was following God and how they did things. Like I seen my grandma turn the other cheek a million different times. My
And
granddad too, because he was a
and that's
man
his.
that used
Oh,
to react and had to learn how to respond because they want you to react. They want you to whip a knife out. They want you to roll into that narrative. But I told my sons, listen, in that moment, no matter how it make you look, turn around and go tell somebody what's going on.
Yeah,
yeah.
I think
Right?
you're right. If just to chime in there. So when we're talking about like our kids in general, I mean, young men. I have a 14-year-old daughter. She's biracial. She's adopted and amazing human being. My wife and I, we had fertility challenges, and so that's why we went down that path. But something you said though is like we got to get you said we need to get our young, I'm just going to say young men in church because I'm not a black man. I can't speak for that. So, I mean, I'm just here to support and listen the best I can.
Hey, but you a child of God, man. It ain't even no color to it. That's just,
listen.
I'm just speaking from, you know,
but I am salt. I am
the window
salt and
I'm
pepper.
looking
I got
out
some
of.
salt and
You get
pepper
what I'm
going, baby,
saying?
right here. I got salt and pepper. So, but what I will say is, so like, I'm new to this. I'm new to Christ. Like, I mean, I knew who he was my whole life, but I really never. Yeah, I mean, I'm just new to my journey. But you said we need to get our young men into church, and you did say young black men, but I'll just take it a step further and just say, how do we get our young men? Because I do believe that's important into church, but also how do we try to help motivate them to follow that path, right? And you guys obviously speak to it way more than I can't at all. But how do you, as a black man, get your kids into the church?
Okay, listen. Let me pin that. Let me throw this out here, right? Yeah. Okay, when you hear me mention them particular people, the only reason why I mention those people because for where I come from, this is a major priority right now. Like our people, not saying like other races, not, but it's like we got to get our people together.
Oh, yeah. No,
like,
I respect that for sure.
Before we kind of go front stage with the, Black Lives Matter, this and this, that need to matter to us first. That's important.
Right.
Very important.
Right.
We can say, hey, that was wrong, but this little girl just got killed last night by one of us. So it's like, that's wrong, but this is not. Yeah, so it's like, that's the deeper issue. So it's like, before we kind of jump on that stage where, like, all lives matter, we need to matter first because we the only ones kind of having that issue that no other community like having. Like, you don't see different communities saying certain stuff. Like, you don't see the Indians say Indians matter. They don't need to. Right. The only ones that are doing that.
Let me address what you asked though. Let me go back to what you said. How do we? Most important thing is that I'm different, okay? And that is that I've been in the church all my life since I was 4. And the church don't work. What works is a relationship with God. You cannot go to a church because what if the church is off? What if the pastor off?
Hey, God is wherever you are.
You cannot depend on the church. What you need to depend on, number one, is finding a church home that perpetuates a personal relationship with God. You have to have a prayer life. And the only way that you're going to teach your son anything is he's watching what you do. You can't take these children to church like it's a boot camp, because some of the churches don't even have a curriculum that helps them to deal with the bully at school. It's all about Jesus loves you, listen, and teaching the Bible. But why don't I want to carry a gun? Why don't I want to pop off? Why don't I want to handle this person that's talking to me right now? And what you got to put in them is you've got to put in them, first of all, you got to put in them something.
The same thing Jesus told the disciples when he cut the man's ear off. He said, we don't get down like that.
Right, which is a desire to know
it's
God
that same
intimately.
line. We don't get down like that. You don't cut this man's ear off. I got to fix it. We don't get down like that.
Right. But what you need is to create a desire.
And like you said with the church, it's like God is bigger than a building. And that's why he never confined himself to a church. That's why he said, I am wherever you are. So like the people who go to church, I'll tip my hat to them, but it's more so like we not in that era of how churches was when Granny and them was going. It's more about sowing seeds and, tens of thousands and 20s, and you give me 1,000, your blessings will make it to. So it's like with the churches, you got people who, like you said, they just visioning God on Sunday. God, wherever you at. Like they said, church. When he mentioned church in the Bible, he never talked about a building. He talked about one or more, 2 people sitting there talking about God.
Totally. And I was just referencing that because you brought up how we get you mentioned how we get our boys back into church. And so that you actually just kind of brought up what I was thinking is I was always taught, and I don't go to church currently because of what you just said, is I feel like I've been taught a congregation is more that it's 2 or more people speaking the word, right? Like that is the church. Like Christ is with you where you are. And so I guess to take it back to the question that you originally you brought up how you needed to get the boys in the community back into that space. But correct me if I'm wrong, but like that's just like us as men need to be better leaders to our kids, right?
Yeah, right. But I want to piggyback on what Mr. Houston said, which is going to church and getting them into church is a beautiful thing, but it's more about having that personal relationship with God. Because remember, once you get there to that judgment day, every knee is going to bow and every tongue is going to confess for itself. Can't say I went to church every Sunday. All that's not going to matter. And one of the things that I love about Mr. Houston is that I've only seen him and the artist Kim do this. They add the word to every show. Us sharing that word and us sharing that word with the youth, because there's no telling when they need to hear it or if they haven't heard it at all. So I don't want to bring you to. I don't want to necessarily have to make you come to church. I want to bring that word, and I want to talk to you about that word and see if that can change your life.
All right.
Yeah, I feel that.
Yeah.
Real
yeah,
quick, but I want to
you've
get to the next question.
Go ahead.
Hey, Trap, real quick, because I think everybody can hear your conversation. Go ahead and introduce yourself and tell them who you are before I get to the second question, because we already been on here for 36 minutes and we only got the one question. So go ahead and tell them who you are, sir. Trap. Hello.
Are you talking to me?
No. Trap Therapy down at the bottom.
I know we got the same name. He doesn't even know that. I don't think.
Yeah. You Trapper, but he got Trap Therapy. So
right, go to the next question.
I'm just going to go ahead and put him on mute real quick because I don't know if he can even hear us. All right. All right. Okay. So now the second question is, and then we're going to have Blue answer this. When was the last time you felt truly heard, not judged, fixed, or criticized, but genuinely heard?
When is the last time I feel heard, whether it was fixed or criticized? I've created a small circle for myself. I'd say last year. One of my partners is a big therapist here in Houston. So I'll be stealing my free therapy from him.
Okay.
But he definitely, we've tried to create a space where all the football dads meet up outside of football and have these powwows like we're having right now, picking topics and issues. And it definitely helps I think for everyone who attends when we do have them. We're able to vent, and you find yourself not alone.
Okay.
It's something when it's that camaraderie of understanding, someone who can identify with what you've been through. Women can't really do that. It might look like it on the surface, but underneath we share different ideologies. So for me, I would say it was about a year ago when we all had the power. Everybody has their lives, so definitely something we've all said we want to do more so. And the reason I felt heard is because, like you guys, they were chiming in because they've had the same emotional experiences and things of that nature. So that's what it was for me.
All right. I know I got a better idea. Hey, Trap Therapy, can you hear me? Trap Therapy, can you hear me? All right. I'll put him back on mute. Okay. So the next question I'm going to ask for Sam. What is the biggest misconception society has about men?
The biggest misconception society has about men. I'm not sure, man. To be honest with you, I'm not sure. I don't really think that men have been given a bad rap. We run everything. We direct everything. We're at the head of every table, every business. I don't think men have been given a bad rap. To expect more from a man should be expected. I mean, I don't think men have been given a bad rap. You know, I know that there's a lot of shows on YouTube where we're in bash black woman season, but I don't think men have been given a bad rap at all.
Okay. All right. Let me ask this next question. Trap therapy. Can you hear me? All right. I guess I'm gonna have to take him off because I don't think something's going on with his system. All right. Mr. Houston, I got a question. What pressure do you think men face today that women often underestimate?
Dealing with them.
I don't think I was supposed to laugh that hard at that.
No, really. You don't understand how toxic and difficult it is to deal with you. I love you. I can't live without you. But I swear to God, your mind don't work sometimes. You say something, then you forget you said it, and you swear up and down you didn't say it, and then all of a sudden, everything that I just said about you, now you're saying that's me, and it's right.
Yeah, you ain't wrong.
Yeah, and then it becomes a comparison, and then when I am emotional, then you tell me first of all, well, you acting like you got feelings. Well, we don't need. Okay, and I hate for anyone to say, try to tell me how to be a man. Okay, what man have you been, and what book did you write? And I learned a long time ago, when someone gives you their opinion, take into consideration their history.
Oh yeah.
If a broke person is telling you, you don't need to be spending that. Really? What? Show me your income tax, because I need to feel that you are at least either if you're not credible, in other words, qualified to talk about this topic.
But let me ask you,
be sensitive to the fact that you might need to leave a little room for you to be wrong.
But outside of the being right and being wrong, don't you believe that men and women should really mold each other in a relationship? So she can be right.
Let me tell you something. You absolutely right, Sam. You're absolutely right. This is what I say to that question. I told my wife that the Lord revealed to me that she is the oven that He's making me in. Let me break that down. Break that down. When you make a cake, you make the cake and you have all these ingredients. Okay, you got the eggs, you got the butter, you got the milk, you got the everything. You put it in the bowl, right? You got the flour, you got everything. You put it in the bowl. The cake in and of itself, the batter is good. You can taste it, but it's not ready to be presented or to be consumed. You have to put it in a dark, hot place for a specific time for everything that's been put inside the cake to congeal and finally be prepared enough to be not only presentable, but to be ingested. Well, that's what life is, and that's what your spouse is. Your spouse is the person that is designed to show you where you're messed up. And they're designed to teach you, hey, listen,
on both ends.
On both ends. Hey, listen, I asked God for patience and He gave me your dumb ass. I asked God for this problem. I asked God for wisdom and He gave me this issue. I asked God for this. And today I'm realizing that you are the person that God is using to make me more patient. You are the person that God is using to make me more loving. If I can love you when I know sometimes you're wrong, then what I'm doing is I've become as Christ is to the church. And Christ said to His wife, He said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what to do. And they was killing Him.
Yeah.
So there you have it. You self-sacrifice. And women don't understand that it takes a sacrifice for me to be with you, not because I love you, but because we're different, we don't think the same, we don't approach the same. You want to do all that, and I'm just.
But
I'm
aren't women making a sacrifice when they're asked to be submissive?
That ain't the question, Sam.
All right. So let's go to let's go to number 5.
Right.
Can you hear me? Can you hear me, Trap? Hello.
Can we text him or?
Yeah, I just hit him up on the side. He said he can hear me, but we're asking him the question again. All right. So the question is going to come to you, Trapper.
Okay.
Have you ever felt like you had to pretend everything was okay when it wasn't, and why?
Oh boy. Yeah.
I want some of that.
Okay. So I'm just gonna I'll cite my experience, and my all of our lives have different traumas in them, right? Different dysfunctions. But in 2015, I was grinding real hard, growing my business in Denver, success from the outside, everything looked great. And I found out my wife was having an affair. And
oh, geez, your current wife?
Yeah. And man, I'll tell you what, there wasn't anything you could do except it's all good. You didn't really want anyone to know or think that you failed, because I already thought I failed harder than anybody. And then, and that led to, this is going to sound crazy because we're all just meeting each other, but that's the whole point of this book I wrote is, we were just talking about our wives and how they shape us. And I loved what Mr. Houston said, because I used to think that I was the leader in my relationship because I was the man. Well, my wife's 4 years older than me, way more educated than I am, way smarter than I am. And I was those ingredients that just were all messed up inside that bottle. And my wife, I didn't realize she was leading us. She was leading me for the majority of our marriage. And I thank God, because if I was in real control, I probably would have been a disaster. But we went through a trauma of infidelity. And then we went through it again and again, all 3 times with the same guy with her. And a lot of friends of mine were like, at this point, the second and third time, they were like, man, we lost respect for you. You don't respect yourself, et cetera, et cetera. And I understand that perspective. However, they didn't know the damage that I was doing by neglecting my wife and putting all of my energy into my business for 15 years. And so I took accountability for the challenges that I created in my marriage. And then in 21, when I attempted, nobody knew that was happening. In 2021, that was my best year. I almost made $1 million of income that year. That was awesome. Wow. But, the outside looked great. I had supercars and a big house in Colorado, a pool. And that's the year that I attempted, because my relationships didn't exist. And that's when I just decided that it was time for me to go. And so when I came through that and I went through ideation counseling, I learned that my wife taught me through all those lessons. Like, I was in the oven that whole time. Nobody knew that I was at a place where I was going to take my life. And I had to hold that to myself. But when I released it, because I was vulnerable afterwards, then I found out who my community was and the people that supported us. And that community has literally led me to being on here with you guys. I know that we don't know each other, but that's really how it ties into that, is I had to be accountable for a lot of things that I created. And then my wife and I now have the strongest marriage we ever had. And if I would have given up on that early, where would we be?
Yeah, that's good. That's a good message.
All right, we're going to try this again. Trap Therapy, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, go ahead and introduce yourself, and then I got a question for you after you introduce yourself, who you are and what you got going on.
Well, for starters, my real name is Deontay. My friends and business partner, they call me D. I reside in Austin, Texas. I run a man support group Sunday. On Saturday, I got this this little circle that I'm trying to teach the Bible to just certain individuals to understand it a lot more better, so they can start following God also. But outside of that, I'm in trucking and I'm a father. Most importantly. So that's pretty much sums up who I am.
Okay.
Yeah.
Appreciate the
Cool.
information. Well, I got a question for you. What is one thing you wish your spouse, partner, family, or friends understood about being a man?
Um, that we not shells. We eat, sleep, breathe, sweat, think, and feel just like them. I wish as a collective, all those people that you mentioned understood that it's not fitting for a man to walk around like a foot soldier 24/7. Like we need space to think, to feel, to mess up, and stop thinking that we just emotionally unavailable just beings. And like I think somebody hit on it, like we was conditioned like that. Like when we was kids, let's just say you got a daughter and a son. If your son falls off the bike, the world gonna be like, get up. You a man, go get you a frozen pack of peas and put it on your shoulder. Like, man up. But if your daughter fall, the world gonna rush you. So after years of that, like I don't know who was hitting on it. We conditioned to not be in that room all together. I think that's important as a collective. Everybody you just mentioned to understand that we are not like shells. We do feel and think like everybody else.
Okay. Sam, I
Hey,
got
now
a question.
Rico, we
Yes, sir.
want you to join into this discussion, man. So, are you going to answer some of these questions?
I mean, right now, honestly, man, I'm giving you guys the platform to be
All right.
transparent and we can hear you guys. Because you know me, if I start talking, we're gonna take about 7 or 8 hours. All right, I got a question for you, Sam. Do
What's
men
up?
have enough? Do men have enough safe spaces to be vulnerable, or we still taught man up and keep it moving?
No, no, no. But the world don't want to hear that. The world don't want to hear that. Because we're in an era now to where men are crying too much. So
That one.
men are crying too much, man. So no. As a matter of fact, I think we have too many safe spaces, man. People are venting all over YouTube, man. They're on Facebook crying about this, crying about that, man. Man, we're in the cryberry area, man. Now, probably, years ago, when James Evans was around, we can say, hey, men didn't have, those platforms or those areas where they could vent and kind of let go of their frustrations and get some feedback from brothers. But now this cryberry area,
It's funny you
man,
said
shoot.
that.
Man, I'm with Sam on that one, man. We got too many spaces to let men not be men.
So Sam, let me ask you this question, Sam.
Yeah,
I'm 47 years old, right?
yeah, yeah.
I I was raised literally. I was raised in a nightclub, the biggest nightclub in Chicago,
Oh,
and with that, I had pimps, drug dealers, and real men teach me how to be a man. One of the things that I learned that there was a lot of pimp code and gentleman code was one of the same, just for different ends of the spectrum.
okay.
Um, and so it formed me, and we had a lot of man code that we just don't see anymore. So with us, because it's our fault, right? Because we raised these softer men, and their mothers
Yeah,
have raised them to be the man or the girlfriend they always wanted them to be.
and
But
we're
for
not there
those,
for our kids.
exactly,
See, that's what we living out. The men aren't there for their kids. If the
It's been
men
the
were there for if the men were there for their kids, they have more structure.
correct.
Like I commend that brother that after his wife stepped out, he stayed in there.
Oh
You
yeah,
know,
that's a
and
strong
and
brother.
and and, and if it's because they have a child, once that child gets older or as that child's growing up, he can pass that message on to that child. You know what I mean? But if the brothers ain't there, we can't blame the women for how they raise our boys.
True indeed.
It's impossible.
No doubt. But my question to you, Sam, is for the for the men of our era, is there enough safe space? Because our era now has been called toxic for leading. Anybody who's in my circle knows there's no safer place than with me. And I'm no tough guy by any means, but I have a protective spirit. So when I'm protecting you emotionally, I'm protecting you physically, I'm protecting you financially, I'm protecting you. That is what I do. It's all incumbent. So for the men like us who were raised in that don't cry, men are quiet, who hold things in, do those men have a safe space?
Check this
I
out.
don't think so.
I have a when I was young, I had an uncle. He's passed on now. His nickname was Cowboy, Uncle Cowboy. And one time he was crying to me. You know, I'm young, you know, and so I asked him, you know, why was he telling me all that? Like why he didn't call, you know, like one of his friends or something like that. And he said because his friends didn't want to hear that, and I understood that. But like me right now, I can get on the phone, I can call Mr. Houston, and we finna have a 2-hour conversation, and he finna run down to me how good God is and the way that we should look at this thing, and don't view it like this. You should view it like that. I can call up Rico and say, hey, Rico, whenever you get done with the salt and pepper tour, there's something I got to talk to you about. You know, so we have avenues now. We got plenty of them, you know, but and some of these guys are just jumping on here and then they're crying to their girl. You know, now women want you to come to them and women want you to open up, but no woman wants to cry, baby. Your ass crying all the time. Ain't nobody want that.
I would say
there's always something wrong with you.
Space.
Hey, I got something to say on that piece right there. When you spoke about the woman part, right? I recently had this conversation with a few guys, right? Because they were sitting there talking about the same thing, like, yeah, man, you know, we can't vent to our woman and, you know, this and this. I said, no, it ain't that. I'm going to tell you the truth. And this is a part of going back to the accountability piece. I said, women do ask. But the biggest lie that we ever tell women is that we okay and we fine. So is it that they not open or we just not telling them? We still being this shell where it's like they ask. Trust me, they ask. It's just we sit there and be broken glass inside and still be like, oh no, I'm good. She was like, you sure? Yeah, I'm straight. So it's like at what point we gonna start being honest? Like, hey, this is what's going on.
Yeah, but I think to follow up with that, because I think that's a good point. But I also think that that's where we need to understand, like our person, like with my wife, we have a pretty unique situation just because of what it is, and there's not enough time to dive into that. But we have to understand, like, what can our partner, like, what can my wife handle that's not going to create an additional amount of stress for her because she might just not know how to connect to that. So, for instance, like I've got a buddy named Chase in Colorado, and if I need to talk to him about heavy financial shit, like that's not like crazy, but like I know that's going to stress my wife out, and maybe I just need to vent. Right. So I'll just hit him up because we can vent and there's no expectation between the two of us. If I go to my wife and I'm venting, she thinks that our life is falling apart. So I think that there's a matter of understanding, like, what is my partner here for? What can they handle? What isn't going to create, you know, I deal with people and my whole job is not creating objections that don't exist. Right. Like I help companies not create objections that don't exist. So when I go to my wife, I already know, hey, my wife can handle this information that I'm about to drop on her, and she can help me get through it together. If I have a challenge that she can't help me with, but I need to get through it and it's not affecting us, I'll just hit my boy up and be like, bro, I need 15 minutes. My taxes are kicking my ass and I need a hand right now. Like, you know, like
you
it's just avenues, like
right?
100%. Correct.
Right. Yeah, we all have avenues. Yeah.
Well, that was my point. That's why I was saying there's a double-edged sword to what Trap was saying, because like we have Brother Trap over here saying, you have to know your audience. You have to know how much to bring to it, because where we go again, we are the protectors, we're the providers. And so protecting her is also protecting her mental. You
Yeah.
might you might just be needing to bounce ideas off. And like you said, now she thinks we about to lose the house in 3 days. That's not
Totally.
what you were
You
trying to say.
gotta, you
You
gotta
You
gotta
be
were trying
know.
to
careful.
say,
Yeah,
like,
you
yo,
gotta
I
be.
got other avenues going on in my head, and I'm trying to figure out where to put what place and what. But the other part of that sword is men suffer from the superhero syndrome. We sit up here and act like we are Incredible Hulk, we are Superman, and we're, putting that mask on and taking it off. No, we're
Well,
not
see, but
I
Clark
that,
think
Kent.
but
Clark Kent,
but
it
we gotta
wasn't the
address
real
that.
guy. Superman was the real guy. When it comes to us, we're the real Clark Kent, and we're putting on a Halloween costume that says we got it all. You
Yeah.
see
You
what
know
I'm
what,
Ain't
brother?
saying?
Superman no more.
Let me chime in on that. Everything you're saying is so factual. But here's the deal, guys. Here's the deal, because I hear so many different things. Here's the deal. There is no map. There is no right way or wrong way. You've got to learn that you got to learn your specific situation. And the most important thing is that we got a lot of opinions, but the reality of it is, guys, none of us were taught. We weren't taught. And we're married to
Absolutely.
women who weren't taught. We as men weren't taught to talk about our emotions, and women weren't taught to have a man talk. So then you've
Now
got
you're not saying it as an excuse, right?
no, not an excuse,
Mhm.
as a
Okay.
reality. Because here is the thing.
That's a fact, though.
It's a straight fact, and that fact
But
leads
not
to
being
the
taught
result.
is not
But
is not a reason.
no, you're right.
Hey, but you only
But there's something that's called.
you only know
Hold on.
what you know,
Let me get it
though.
out. Let me get it out. There's
Okay.
something that's called cause and effect. And it doesn't matter whether you're taught or whether you're not. There's something that's called the number one reason why men don't do certain things is because we're not received. It's not a safe place, or we were taught to avoid anything that's emotional. We only function as a general rule of thumb. What do you bring to the table, or what table are you bringing? This is not
But
about how you feel and things. And so you've got a culture and a society that has never taught men to be open. Now, six out of 8 men won't go to counseling because they feel it's intrusive, because nobody's ever taught them to talk. So how do you get a man that's in his 30s and 40s that has never talked about his emotions, never
right.
talked
But I
about
don't
this?
want to. I don't want to operate under the premises that if we wasn't taught it, then therefore we can just be
But
fucked up. Because
good.
because see, let me make this point real quick. Because see, I had a stepdad in my life for a while. For like for some years, and he used to, when I was young, he used to beat the shit out of my mom. Now I can't grow up and put my hands on my wife, anytime there's a conflict or something like that because of what I was taught. So so from what I've seen, it's on me to correct that and learn what I need to look, what I need to
But
know to be
there's a
a good
gap with that
a
analogy,
good
though, Sam.
husband, a good father. It's
Yeah.
on
There's
me
a
to
gap
go
with
and
that
pick that up.
analogy, though. There's a
Go
gap
Yeah,
with
ahead.
that
but
analogy.
for
You're right, and
to,
you're
to
right
both
about
of
that.
you,
But here's the gap.
Hey,
The gap
you know
is
what? You
why
100%
don't
right. He 100% right when it comes to like, but two things can be true at once, right? So like how
Right.
he just hit on, like, I seen this and I did this. So how I live my life is what you see in me is called reverse trauma. I go against everything I seen
Uh-huh.
coming up, right?
Yeah.
So when it comes to the other point, that's a true statement too. So like if let's just say for example, you never seen a man subscribing to your mama the right way, right?
Right.
Or your father. Kids is sponges. Where else you gonna learn this from? Right? So when you get older, like how you said, you can and let me make this point. You know how you can speak on something and then somebody will be like, well, that wasn't his story. He made it out. Yeah, he one of the few. That's the minority, not the majority, right?
come
So the
on.
majority, if they grew up and seen, like, let me make this point. If I'm a man and I seen my mother disrespecting my father. I'm gonna either like women like that or I'm gonna hate them. Ain't no in between. Right. So if you a girl and you seeing your dad, you walk in the house every day, the man not working. You see the mother putting on, providing, paying bills. As a woman, you either gonna like dudes with no ambition or you gonna hate them because kids are sponges. So like when you get older, I had a woman tell me like that ain't no excuse because I was like this. Listen, why you think it's not? If this woman never taught her daughter recipes, you think at 20 she gonna be an amazing cook? No,
exactly.
She not.
Come on.
She not.
Brother, you're absolutely right. Let me chime in.
Can I chime in real quick?
Yeah, brother. Please, we'd love to hear what you have to say. Let me just say this, and then I'll get out the way. We are a creature of habit of what we've learned. You cannot demand that someone operate in a place where they have not been exposed or taught. You can say, okay, listen, y'all saw abuse. Not going to do abuse. Why are you not going to do abuse? Because you have to fill in that gap to say, you don't do abuse because you don't want to be abused. Number two, you're feeling at some spirit of rejection or some spirit of loss of control. So the only reason why you're hitting is because you don't like that you can't control, that you can't do anything about it. And as a result of it right now, let me show you how to handle your emotions. And then we can talk about your hands. Because your hands are only doing what your emotions are telling you what to do. And if you don't get a teacher, if you don't get exposed to credible information,
that's a real important thing he hit.
So Mr. Houston, here, that's what I wanted to. Here's what I want to say is like you just hit it, and so did Trap. So like, here's the deal: we are a product of our environment. We're a sponge, and that's fine. However, when we mature and our frontal lobe is grown and we can recognize in ourselves that we aren't how we should be, or people that are important to us, or we want to be important to us, or that we perceive as normal, say, hey, you need to work on that. We have to try to seek out leadership. You know, I didn't know how to do that, right? And so I was extremely dysfunctional as a young man in my 20s. And then I was gifted people in my life to go, oh, those things aren't, just because I'm a product of that environment doesn't mean they're okay or right? And I had to be corrected. Like I had to be corrected, right? To learn. And you just said it right there is we either get fortunate that education comes into our life, or sometimes we don't, dude. And I think that's where the bigger responsibility is for all of us is when we see the course is off course, when we see a man is off course, and we know what the course kind of looks like, even though it's our opinion on the course, it's our job, it's our duty to say, hey, bro, hey, buddy, hey, man, like, can I have a conversation with you? And I just want to educate you, like, that doesn't seem right, or like how you're seeing this perspective. Can you try to look at it a different way? And that's just what you were saying too. And then Trap also is like,
I agree. I believe that we're all saying
have to be a sponge.
Yeah, we're all saying the same thing. Because let me say this real quick, Trap.
Yeah.
When here's the thing. In life, we're going to do things in spite of and because of. So, like you guys were saying, you were talking about the abuse and things of that nature. My biological father ain't nothing to write home about. I was petrified of being a father. I didn't want kids. I thought being a bad dad was contagious. I thought it was hereditary. That's what it was. I thought it was hereditary. Then I wanted to be a dad.
Wow.
And he gave me still the best example. Because I figured if I could do the opposite of everything he did, I had to fall somewhere between good and bad.
Right.
Yeah. You hear what I'm saying? Then there were great men that blessed me in my life, that educated me in things. So I say, okay, this is direction here. This is what I need. This is what manhood is. So when people look at me and say, oh man, your dad wasn't shit, this, that, and the other, my response to them is I still have to give him praise because everything that you love about me is because and in spite of that same person.
Come on, man.
He showed me what not to do.
That's maturity, though.
That's what not to do.
Yeah.
Real
That's
quick.
a real thing, man.
What you gotta
That's a real thing, man. That's
what you gotta.
But like other Trap hit on, like you said, when you get older and you do realize that I'm gonna tell you why I embedded myself back in therapy. So what happens is you end up at my age, almost 30, relearning
Can you hear me?
everything you learned. So by the time you realize like it ain't fitting to mess over good people, think about how many people you done messed over in
You
that
can't do nothing about
process.
that,
And
though.
that's why me and
You
my
can't do nothing
mother
about that.
had
You
that
can't do nothing about
conversation
that.
when I was
Can you hear
24.
me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you, Sam. Hey, real quick,
Yeah.
right now we had an
No, we can't
hour
hear
and
you.
10 minutes.
I can
So
see you, Sam.
what I'm going to
I
do,
can't hear you, though.
I got these questions that I'm
The
going to
bottom
ask.
line is, guys, this is what you got to get, all of us.
Hey,
Mr. Houston.
hello.
Mr.
Yes, sir.
Houston, hold on
Can you
a
hear me?
sec, because Rico's trying to tell us something.
Can somebody hear? Everybody can hear me?
No, I can't hear
Yeah,
you,
got
Rico.
you.
Well, my speaker,
I can hear you, Rico.
I can
I
hear
don't know
you,
if I'm Houston can't. He's just like, I'm gonna keep going.
I mean, I don't know. All right, can you hear me now, Mr. Houston? So
Mr.
Trapper,
Houston can't hear
Trapper,
you.
you the only
Yeah.
one that can
No,
hear
I
me?
can't hear you.
I can hear you.
I think the rest of us can hear you.
All right, I think something's going on. Let me see his phone. Oh, give me a second. Let me see something.
Trap therapy. Can you hear Rico?
I can hear you, man. That's the devil.
Yeah, I can hear. Let me see if
That's the
he's
devil,
on mute.
man.
Oh, you know what? He got
Rico
himself on
muted.
mute.
Rico muted himself. Houston.
No.
Yeah, I muted myself because yeah.
Yeah, so that's why so now you can hear me, right, Houston? See his phone keep muting. It's on mute right now.
Mr. Houston, can you hear me?
I can hear everybody except Rico.
Okay.
Yeah, all right, so you can't hear me right now.
He can't hear you.
Mr. Rico, ask the question and I'll make sure Mr. Houston hears it.
All right, sound like a plan. All right, I'm going to go around the table. So I'm going to start off with you, Blue, and you give me your answer like in about 10 seconds, and then I'm going to go around the table. So Blue, if you could talk to your 20-year-old self for 1 minute, what advice would you give him now?
The question, Mr. Houston, is if I could talk to myself for my 20-year-old self for 1 minute, what advice would I give him? The advice I would give him is keep going. Your success is right on the other side of your struggles. There's a lot of opportunities I missed because of fear, and I've learned to not run from my fears, but I actually run to my fears. I don't know how healthy that is, but that's been my success in life as we speak. So I would tell them anything that you're afraid of, run to it.
Okay. All right.
Well, I'm gonna have to say that's
same question,
that's it.
Trapper. If you could talk to yourself, if you could talk to your 20-year-old self for 1 minute, what advice would you give him now?
I would give him the advice to really take in the moments with every single person that was important to me at 20 years old. I would really want to embrace people's presence more.
Okay. Mr. Houston, can y'all tell him it's his time to answer that question?
Mr. Houston, it's your turn to answer the question of what will you tell if you had a minute, what would you tell your 20-year-old self today?
Mr. Houston, can you hear me? He just said his audio is gone.
Okay,
Houston, we have a problem.
I'm going to put him on mute just in case. So the question, go ahead, Trap. You answer that question since you can hear me.
What I would tell my 20-year-old self, I think it's the same thing I told both of my sons. Make your 20s about pouring into you and building your relationship with God. You know, don't be too quick to embed yourself in this. It's a reason you build in your 20s. Even if, I didn't take that path and I turned out okay, I still don't recommend my sons or my 20-year-old self to take the path that I did take in my 20s. Make your 20s about building, about getting to that point where you can lead a woman, you can lead a family. That's what your whole 20s about. I would tell my 20-year-old self to build and gain the tools you gonna need in your 30s and your 40s.
Okay. Well, hopefully Sam come back on and I'll ask him that question. But I'm
Sam
going to go
is
back.
here. Can you hear me, Rico, Sam?
Sam, can you hear me, Sam? All right, let me go and ask you this question, Blue. Who checks on the man that always checking on everybody else?
Who checks on a man that's always checking on everybody else? I think that man has to make room to check on himself. I think that man, I know I look in the mirror and I give myself personal affirmations. I make my children do it. Uh, I tell myself that I am great. I tell myself that I am strong. I'm telling myself that I have it. And I have to do that without shying away. I practice that exercise because I don't really know if there's anyone to tell the man that tells everyone else everything is okay. Is there really a place for me? So I have to make it for myself. So as I'm pouring into others, I just can't leave a space. I have to leave some space for myself as well.
Okay. Sam, can you hear me? How about Mr. Houston? Can you hear me?
I can.
Okay. The question for you, if you could talk to your 20-year-old self for 1 minute, what advice would you give him now?
Hello.
You are loved.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to perform to receive love. You are gifted, and your mistakes, there's going to be fruit on the vine of everything that happens for you or to you. If you're going to live your life knowing that some of your greatest victories will come out of your failures. And there is, the struggle can produce wealth that wealth can't afford.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Hey, can I answer that last question while we waiting?
About the who checks on the man that always checking on everybody else?
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
I got two answers to that. The first one is, at some point, we always be worried about who pouring back into our cup, right? So one thing I realized by talking to my pastor, and he shed light on this. So who checks on the man who checks on everybody else? That's God's job. That's God's job to pour back into our cup. We just worry about pouring. The second person who really checks up on the man is your woman. We don't see that. We don't notice that. But they do. If you have a that type of woman around you. But the woman don't have to be your significant other. It can be your mother, your auntie. We all got grandmas who did that. My grandma definitely was that person for me. That was one person I can confide in if I didn't have nobody else.
Okay. All right. Sam, can you hear me? I think he's
No. I'm sorry. Can you hear me?
Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep, we got you, Sam.
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. Question, Sam. If you could talk to your 20-year-old self for just 1 minute, what advice would you give him now?
Don't rush. Don't rush on nothing. Don't rush for nothing. Don't rush to nothing. Save as much as possible. Nothing is worth you having to sacrifice anything or put yourself in an uncomfortable position or putting unnecessary pressure on yourself or your family. Don't rush anything. Take your time. Listen to what God is saying to you in your heart and move forward.
Okay. Well, again, fellas, I believe I asked everybody that last question except Sam. And the last question, Sam, can you hear me?
We just started buffering.
Yeah. Well,
Hey,
anyway.
Rico, could I answer that last one about who checks on the checker?
Yes, sir.
So I'm going to give a little backstory just real quick. I'll make it fast. So I attempted in September of 21. My adopted daughter that we were there when she was born, Jaden, she called and saved my life in the middle of the attempt. 7 months later, my wife had a ruptured brain aneurysm and ended up in the hospital for 180 days. 9 brain surgeries and a whirlwind of change of life. My wife was the one who, even though we went through a lot, she would check on the checker because I was the checker. But When my wife came out of the hospital, she has a speech disorder called aphasia. So she cannot talk like we do. It is a very broken language that my daughter and I have had to learn how to communicate with. However, my wife's family was very close to me, and they've supported us through everything we've gone through. My father-in-law died in 2010, but my mother-in-law, when my wife was in the hospital, my mother-in-law, she would check on me all the time because they live out of state. They live in Seattle. We lived in Denver when my wife was in the hospital. And my mother-in-law would literally just call him and say, "Hey, Trap, like, you're doing a great job. How are you doing? How are you holding up? You know, we appreciate you. We appreciate everything you're doing." And then when my wife came home, I had to become her caregiver. And a lot of people don't understand what that means. And you might think you do, but if you haven't been a caregiver to your spouse, you don't know what that means. So I'll just say that very bluntly. But my mother-in-law, I just told her, I said, there was a point where I was like, "Hey, I appreciate you checking on me. And if you don't mind, just keep doing it." I think it's our responsibility sometimes to say, "Hey, we do need somebody to check on us," right?
Yes. Okay. All right. Let me see. Look like Sam's trying to get back on. I'm going to ask him that last question, then we're going to wrap it up. All right. Can you hear me, Sam? Can you hear me, Sam? All right. So last but not least, Blue, how people can find you, man, if they want to look you up on social media.
On TikTok, it is Blue Davis 001. On Instagram, it's Blue Star 001.
Okay. Sam, can you hear me?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I'm going to ask you that last question. Who checks on the man that always checking on everybody else?
The Lord. And if you got a good woman, her. Man,
That's the same answer. Who said that? Was it Trap or Trapper?
Yeah, I like that he said God first. That's important, man. That's the head.
That's what's up.
Yeah.
All right.
You know,
Hey,
a lot of men don't understand that sometimes all you're going to have is the Lord.
Yeah.
You know, and he wants you to lean on him and not lean on your own understanding.
Yep. All right, Sam. How can people find you?
Oh, I'm Sam McFord on Facebook, Instagram, either. I mean, my phone number is 713-201-4040. You know, so
You sure you want to do that on social media?
Great.
I'm easy to find, man. Hey, I operate with the public. My number's everywhere.
All right.
Sam, brothers, make sure we all link up and I get y'all info.
No doubt.
And y'all
No doubt.
You, Trapper.
Yeah, so
The
on
other
socials, so I Trapper. Socials is just, I got you. Can you hear me?
Go ahead, Trapper.
Okay, can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Okay, cool. Yeah, so you can find me at Trapper Searles on any of the socials, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. It's all just at TRAPPERSEARLES. Yeah.
All right.
But I would love to connect with you guys. Rico, can you, like, in our text or in, like, on that IG strand, can you just send us contact so we can link up?
Oh, that'd be real good.
All right. Trap Therapy. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah,
I can. How can people find you?
You can find me on TikTok, Facebook, or YouTube at Trap Therapy. I got a podcast called 10 Minutes in the Trap. And I also got a series called 10 Minutes of Trauma that's about to drop tomorrow, episode 1.
Okay.
Man, send us that link, man. 10 Minutes in the Trap. I want to hear that.
All right. But again, fellas, I want to thank you guys for tuning in to the Just Ask Rico show. I'm just hoping that a lot of the things that you guys are saying, no, I ain't hoping. I know it's going to make a difference in a lot of these other men's lives because there are so many men that's going to be watching the show. Some of them don't want to say anything because, like we all talked about, we are supposed to show that we're strong, that we're a soldier, that we can't be hurt, you know, but we can, you know, and that's the reason why there's so many suicide, because we keep things trapped in for so long that the only way we feel out is to get rid of ourselves. So, man, we have to find a safe space.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah, we have to find a safe space for all men to be able to come to and express what it is that they're dealing with, man. So again, I want to thank you guys first, man. I appreciate it, and I'm going to be doing this a lot. I'm always going to keep changing the topic up every week. So definitely, man, if you guys, need anything or you want, connections or collaboration on something, let me know, man. That's what I'm here for, man.
Man, Rico, this was nice, man. Thanks for allowing me to be a part of the conversation today.
Right.
Yeah, likewise, Rico. Appreciate you.
All right, and when I get these clips out and everything like that, I'm going to shoot it to you guys as well, and I'll make sure everybody got everybody's contact information on here as well. All right, fellas.
Sounds good.
That'd be dope.
Take it easy, man.
All right, man.
All right, later.
All right.